One of the most controversial debates going on in America right now is the issue of gun control. With tragic events like Columbine, the Dark Knight Massacre, and the Newtown shooting, the issue of gun control is at the forefront of a national discussion of safety and rights in America. The Red Hot News decided to take a look at how Clinton High School faculty and students feel about the issue of gun control in America. Before we start, let's take a look at the numbers. As of 2009, America is home to roughly 307 million people and about 300 million guns. Based upon surveys, about 40 to 45% of American households own a gun. As of 2008, roughly 16,272 murders were committed in a year in America. Of these, about 10,886, or 67%, were committed with firearms. And according to a recent Emerson College national poll, 55% of respondents support stricter gun laws, while 12% supported less strict regulations. To begin our look into gun control in America, we asked students and faculty for their feelings regarding gun rights. So first, tell me in general how you feel about the right to own guns.
I think we should have the right to own guns, but I think it should be regulated.
It's just all around a good thing to have.
I think that there needs to be more gun regulations and there needs to be gun control, because I don't really understand the point of the gun laws we have now. I know there's the Second Amendment, but I'm not quite a fan of that.
I feel like it's definitely a constitutional right, but when they wrote the Constitution, it was in response to the tyrannical government of Great Britain, so the circumstances are definitely different now. I don't think they anticipated that there would be things like assault rifles and stuff like that, so it's a lot to interpret.
Honestly, I don't think there's anything wrong with guns as long as you know how to use them and use them right.
Obviously, people want their guns, which is fine, but I do think there should be restrictions on that, because I believe there's a lot of guns on the street that aren't legal necessarily.
To me, no matter what the rules are and everything, it's gonna be unsafe. It's already regulations on guns, and people who still shouldn't have them ends up with them. Crazy people end up with them, and they're just killing people.
I think maybe there should be some regulation on some types of weapons, but as far as shotguns and things like that, I don't feel like they should be regulated by the government.
I think that for our safety, certain people should own guns, but there should be limits on who has a gun. But I think that America is built on protection, and the way we protect ourselves over our guns.
I believe that gun control could be more effective if they limit it to the people that they give it to.
I feel that we should be able to own guns, but I don't think we should just be able to take them anywhere. And I think we should regulate how people attain guns better, instead of people attaining guns illegally, and bring them, how minors get them in, bring them to school and shoot schools up.
I like the universal background checks. I don't really see a reason why anybody needs assault rifles.
The word gun control kind of scares me, but I believe that we have laws already in place that take care of the rights of the individual and protect the Second Amendment. So right now, as far as gun control, I worry that we look too much at the gun and not as much as looking at the individual and what crime was committed and how it was committed.
I think the Second Amendment is important. I don't think there's a reason to take guns from anyone, but I also don't think that there's a campaign from the government to take everyone's guns. I own a gun, and I think it's a pretty traditional thing for most guys in the South to have a gun. But I do think there needs to be definitely some regulations and controls on them.
If you're an adult and you're smart and you're not crazy and you don't want to go out and kill people, you should probably be able to own a gun.
I think it should be harder to own a gun, and I think to own a gun you should have to pass tests and other things, because anyone can go out and get a gun nowadays if you're over a certain age, and that's just not right.
I honestly feel like guns are they're needed, but at a certain point, and not everybody should own one.
I don't think there's any reason anybody needs an assault rifle other than to be in the military, so there should be no ordinary citizen that has an assault rifle. I think maybe have people to get certified to own a handgun, because handguns don't have any other purpose other than to kill people. So I think you could have a handgun for self-protection, but I feel like you should go through a little bit more certification in order to get one.
Run a test, a psychological test, to make sure that that person is mentally stable to handle a gun.
I think the gun regulations we have currently need to be followed. In speaking of that particularly, you look at our FBI background checks, things like that, people that have bought guns. Our government has, you know, said that these things are quality things, and then they have gone and said, you know, hey, we're going to change the rules for some, not for others. We have to look at, you know, our mental status and those things, so to make sure that we're making good decisions on whose hands we put guns in.
I support a full assault weapons ban. I can't imagine why any regular citizen in America should have an assault weapon. I support ammo restrictions. I think that, you know, if we can't restrict guns from everybody, I think that, you know, it's much better if someone can shoot 7 rounds when he goes crazy than if he can shoot 30 rounds. I think there should have to be registration, and then I think that it should be a lot like owning a car. I think that you should have to register it. I think that you should have to have a performance test, and I think that you should have to be tested periodically to make sure that you are responsible enough to own the gun.
I think the type of gun that somebody owns should be like regulated or whatever, and I feel like people should have like a mental background check done just to make sure they're not crazy or anything.
I think that normal people should not own assault rifles, and I think that there are a lot of mental health issues that need to be checked before they buy guns, like with Sandy Hook and with the Aurora shooting. Like, they owned guns and they were assault rifles, so I don't know how that happened and how people who have mental problems were able to own that many guns.
I think it should be harder to get assault level weapons. You know, I don't think that people should go out and be able to buy, you know, crazy assault rifles. You know, you can't shoot skeet with it, you can't hunt with it. I feel like that's cheating, so why would you want to own
I
one?
think that gun regulations should be very strict. Definitely, you don't want them to fall into the wrong hands of people, so anyone that does have a gun should be very prepared and know how to use them.
I think you just really need to be careful when you register guns. We need to have restrictions on that, but you take away the guns from the good guys, then it's only going to be the bad guys with guns out there, so really nobody has anything to protect themselves with.
I don't see a need for assault weapons. You know, of course, those weapons are already out. You know, they're already out in the public. But I wish we never started, you know, that. So I think maybe there needs to be some kind of regulation on assault weapons.
Honestly, they need to do more on registering each gun, because I know that a lot of people have guns that they don't register. So you have no idea who owns a gun. So I think you just got to make sure that, you know, that you tell like the government you have a gun, and just make sure no criminals get guns, even though they still do.